Hey, what's going on, Sumolings? This is Chris from AppSumo, and today I'm very excited because we have the team behind iubenda, and we're going to be going through it in just a minute. Before we get started, I want to let you know two quick things. One, if you have any questions, drop those in the Q&A block. Oh, Q&A box on Zoom. We'll circle back to those after the presentation. And two, if you miss anything, you got to pop out early. Don't worry. We'll be sending out the replay later today, so you'll be able to check out anything you missed or want to rewatch there. But that is all for me. Let me turn it over to you guys. Thank you guys for hopping on, and let's hear about your product.
Awesome, guys. Andrea is going to manage the chat bot, and I'm going to run through and share my screen here and give you a live demo so you can understand how to set things up. Let's see here. All right, so first off, we're going to start from the very beginning. And let me get rid of this hide video. There we go. So we're going to start from the beginning here. This is iubenda.com, and we're all the way at the beginning. The first thing we want to do is create a brand new project. So for you guys who are managing a website, you don't know where to start, this is where you're going to begin. You're going to click on Start Generating, and the first thing we're going to do is name the project. And for today, we're going to name it AppSumo. And then we can generate legal documents, a cookie banner as well, for either a website, mobile app, or Facebook app. And then we're going to name our project. Today, we're just going to stick with the website. And then we can choose 8 different languages that we want to choose from. So you can always change or add languages later. For today, we're going to do English. And then you're going to click Start Generating. I already did that. So I'm going to go into the dashboard. And where it's going to take you, once you click Start Generating, it's going to take you into the projects. And now you have an overview of our solutions. You have the privacy and cookie policy generator. You have the cookie solution, which is the GDPR banner and the CCPA opt-out form and the CCPA banner. You have the terms and conditions generator. And then we have the consent solution as well, and the internal privacy management below. I'll briefly go over those to close the demo. We're going to start with privacy and cookie policy generator. So the first thing we want to do is edit, because right now we have a blank document and we need to put in some personal information to make this privacy policy our own. So when we click on edit, we're going to click on this little owner tab here, and we're going to put in the owner information of the document and the email. And these are going to show and reflect inside the privacy policy at the top there. And the next portion we're going to do here, we're going to add this proper services. Now, the law requires you guys as a business to disclose in your privacy policy the data processing activities that are going on. And you need to list all the third-party services that you guys are using and discuss how they process user data. It'd be pretty tough to do, and how we tackle this challenge to give you guys an easy product is to have a site scanner. And so what you're going to do here is going to click on the scan website and auto detect services. It's going to bring up a little box. You're going to type in your website URL. And here we typed in AppSumo, and it took about a minute or two, and then it gives me perfect matches and suggestions. And so what you're ultimately looking at in this box here, we have 1,517 legal clauses that have been crafted by our legal team. And so, for example, MailChimp is a popular third-party service, and our legal team has written all the data processing that MailChimp does. So if you're using MailChimp, you can add that to your privacy policy and so forth. What you guys need to do after the site scan is add the perfect matches. Now, these are scripts that are recognized on your website through the scan that we did that definitely need to be accessed and accessible and clicked to be selected inside your privacy policy. Then the suggestions, these are scripts we recognize on your site. We're not really sure how you're using them. So you can choose accordingly which third-party services that are here in the suggestions bar pertain to you guys. And then we also have a create custom service feature. I won't dive too deep into this, but you can create your own service and name it. And if you're using something else or personal to your own business, and you can select this and it'll be listed among all the other clauses inside your privacy policy. So as of now, you're going to hit save and continue. And the last things we need to do is we need to decide if we want to apply some GDPR wording to just European users. Now we can recognize their IP address, and that'll come in handy. I'll show you when we go through the cookie banner. So you can apply some GDPR wording to either all users or European users only. And then down here, if you need to be CCPA compliant, you can enable this option, which pretty much adds a huge portion of legal text according to CCPA and California rights and their rights by going through your website and so forth. And then we've disabled LGPD. This is a Brazilian legislation, doesn't apply to AppSumo. This may come into play if you guys are doing business out of Brazil, or if you even have Brazilian traffic coming to your site. And to wrap up the privacy and cookie policy generator, you have multiple options to add different languages. Again, we have 8 fully supported languages. And as you add different languages, you can toggle between those different language documents and so forth. And then for the cookie policy, we've pretty much added all the information in the privacy policy generator. And to activate the cookie policy, it's going to take that same information. So all we have to do is hit configure here, and then we're going to hit save changes. And what that does is generates a separate document called cookie policy, and that document has now also been created. So going back up to manage and embed, we're in the dashboard now. So the first thing we want to do is embed the code on our website. And so we're going to click embed here, and it's going to bring us down to this option. So you can first off tick the white label. Notice how we have Ubenda logo here. You can remove that by ticking white label. And then it gives you 3 options to embed the code that we just generated. So you can add a widget in the footer here. And now it looks kind of like this. You have these 3 little white boxes. And below you have the unique code for each document that we just made. You have the privacy policy code here. You have the cookie policy code here. Terms and conditions, which I'll get into in a moment, you have that code here. Each are different, each unique to the document. So to put them on your site, you can add a widget in the footer. You can use a direct link, which if I copy this code and paste it in the browser, it's going to show up in my browser and I can look at it. This is handy for a lot of mobile apps that are submitting legal documents through the App Store and so forth. The best option, the most advanced option, is embed the text in the body. So again, you have the privacy policy code here, and you're going to be able to take that code, put it on a blank page of your websites, and you're going to be able to, it's going to populate the document on your website accordingly. And we have so much helpful walkthrough guides and content, whether you're on Shopify or WordPress, Magento, so much that can help you and show you exactly where to put the code. You're going to do the same with cookie policy. And again, you have the unique code for the terms. So that's the run through for the privacy and cookie policy generator. Now the terms and conditions, it works the same way. You don't need to list all the third-party services that you do inside the privacy policy generator. The terms is a bit different. So to make the terms and conditions, the first thing we're going to do is we have the owner information here, which we can change that if needed. It actually auto-populates from the privacy policy. And then here we're going to add clauses. And now we pretty much need to select a little white box here in whatever ones pertain to our business. And now content rights, target audience, that stuff is pre-selected, but you need to make sure any boxes that aren't pre-selected need to be selected if they pertain to your business. So for example, the AppSumo website, users can create accounts. So we've added this section, and it's going to incorporate all kinds of legal documentation and disclosures about users' rights and account creations. AppSumo is collecting business payments. They make money on their website. So we've added this business model, payments, and users' rights section. If they're the Wall Street Journal and they're running personalized ads, they're gonna put the ads section there. And then for marijuana sites or tobacco sites, anything that deals with age restrictions over 18, you need to make sure you select this clause, age restrictions. Now, if you don't know what something is, you can simply click the little question mark, and it'll guide you and disclose what that is exactly. So once you've gone through and added the proper clauses here, you click save and continue, and then we can go back and to manage and embed. Now we've made the terms and conditions, and we have 3 documents now that we've made. And so whether I click embed here or embed here, it's going to take me to the same place. And I click embed, and again, you're going to probably do embed the text in the body. You have 3 options, and you have your terms and conditions code here. You can also, before we move on, view the documents that we've made. So for the terms and conditions, for example, you have the owner information here at the top, and we have that support email that we've added, and then all the different clauses that we've chosen. For example, account registration, those are added accordingly with all the proper legal details. Moving on to the cookie solution, we're going to be able to edit the cookie solution, and then we can also embed that in our websites. And so when we click on edit the cookie solution, We have a live preview of what the cookie banner looks like on the right, and then we have a configuration window on the left. And so any changes we make on the left-hand side, we can see what it's going to look like on our site. So right now we're going to decide that the cookie banner is going to stay in the bottom left-hand corner of our site. I did add a logo of this AppSumo guy here, and then I also changed the colors and added the color codes of the AppSumo site accordingly so the buttons look and feel like our website. Scrolling down, most importantly, you want to set this banner up to be compliant with CCPA and GDPR. And so the right-hand side, right up here in the corner, you can see what the CCPA banner looks like, and you can see what the GDPR banner looks like. And so I'll start with the GDPR banner and discuss that. The first thing we want to do to have a GDPR banner, and we've made it easy to show you what GDPR requires accordingly. And so what you want to do is make sure you've added accept and reject buttons. We can't have a cookie banner and it can't be compliant with regulations if we don't have accept and reject buttons. So we've added those. The next thing we need to do is add the per category consent option. And what that pretty much means is that according to GDPR, users need to have the right and the option to choose a granular consent option. So they can, for example, accept all the cookies, reject all the cookies, or choose different strings of cookies accordingly and save and continue. And so there's a bit of what happens on the back end in some of our guides, and it'll be super helpful to read those. But going back here, the last thing here, you see this little blue GDPR button. Unless you're a publisher, you don't need to enable the IAB Transparency Consent Framework. If you want to read more about that, and if it pertains to you, click Learn More, and you can read. But as far as the AppSumo website, the IAB Transparency and Consent Framework does not apply. And then the CCPA banner, which is this. Now, the CCPA banner meets two requirements by CCPA. One, as a notice of collection, which is what this banner is. And then it has the opt-out link, which is called a do not sell my personal information link. When a user clicks this, they'll be able to opt out of their information being collected or sold or shared with third-party services. You can read more about that in the CCPA guide. And now for the CCPA banner, we're going to automatically detect when to apply. So basically, we recognize the IP address of where a user is coming from. So we have this banner set up right now to show the CCPA banner to California users, and then the GDPR banner is going to be shown to European Union visitors. And so I'm in Michigan. I'm not going to see either of these banners. You can set them up differently, but right now that's our current setup. So we've detected, we're going to detect California users and show them that banner. And then we're also going to display a banner with the notice. And now going back up, there's an advanced view. And one thing you want to do if you only want to show the European banner to European users is go into advanced view, scroll down, and you're going to tick both of these options. Request consent from EU users only and automatically detect the user country. That's going to show the banner accordingly to where the users are. Now, advanced options has quite a bit of stuff. You could really dive in with your team and make this banner your own. For example, a couple things you can do is change the CSS, the HTML. You can change the banner content. For example, we can change just about anything and everything that we want to. Of course, make sure you still are compliant and have everything set up properly if you're making edits on your own. But that's about it. The last thing for the banner here is its links to the cookie policy as well. And so that is another legal requirement to link the GDPR cookie banner with the cookie policy and so forth. So when you're done, you can save and continue. And then the next thing you want to do, I'll scroll back up here, you want to embed the cookie banner on your site so it's going to show accordingly. And I took a screenshot here. So for example, this is a screenshot of the CCPA banner. This is what would come up for California users who visit the site. And then here's a screenshot of the GDPR banner. And with our current setup, this is what's going to show to European users that come to the site from Europe when they come to the AppSumo site. So we want to put this on our site. We're going to click on embed. And when we click embed, it brings us down to this section. And we have, again, a unique code. You can either add it to the head tag of your website, or you can use a plugin for WordPress, Joomla, PrestaShop, Magento, and so forth. And put it on your site so it populates accordingly. And then make sure you read a bit more in depth about prior blocking and so forth. We have a guide on prior blocking and what GDPR requires there, and cookie law as well. And then for the internal privacy management solution, I'm not going to dive into this deep today, but the solution is pretty much an easy way to document all the data processing activity within your business. So you can simply pretty much define the data that you collect, their purposes, the parties involved, employee roles, as well as other GDPR required records. And note that even though the GDPR is a common reason to put effort into internal privacy management, this can also be used for internal privacy management in general, even by companies who don't have any users or customers within the European Union. And last solution here is the consent solution. And I'm going to jump into a different tab to show you guys this. Now, the consent solution helps you store all user preferences, conveniently retrieve them, and then store proof of consent. So if you collect personal data via forms for newsletters or email lists, subscriptions, etc., the GDPR requires you to keep and maintain valid consent records. And our consent solution helps you to comply with privacy laws, especially the GDPR, by recording and storing proof of consent so that you can meet all the regulatory requirements that you guys fall under. So I'll briefly show you the dashboard. This also is an embed solution. So you can embed it on your site to link it to your forms, and you can do that via JavaScript or HTTP API. The dashboard here is a bit very helpful in terms of tracking everything and then using the search function to find everything. So for example, we have 3 different users in here. These are fake users. And we're going to give you an example of what it looks like when they create or go through a form on your website and give information over. So you have 3 different tabs: consents, subjects, and legal notices. So for the consent tab, we have this guy here, and he's part of our public key, which means according to however you put the API in your website, it's either going to be a public key or a private key. And we hit this little button here, it brings up the subject details. And now this guy is given consent through a form on our websites. And so there's automatically a unique ID generated for him. He gave us his email, his first name, last name. If there's some data that isn't in your form, it's just simply going to say no data. And there's a bit of other information about him as well as a timestamp. And then going into the consent details, click this little I right here, and that brings this up. And again, you have a unique ID, you have a timestamp, you have the owner, you have all the subject details that we just looked at. And then it also shows the different legal notices that he's given consent to, and we'll get into this in just a moment. But for this guy, he's given consent to privacy policy version 1 and so forth. We also have different content, that the raw content of the form here. And then scrolling down, we even have a screenshot of the form as well. And then lastly, IP address. And then the legal notices, this is pretty much your section to keep track of all the different legal notices that are uploaded and used on the site over time. So for example, we have cookie policy version 1, it was uploaded on this date, and then cookie policy version 2 here, and so forth. So all these change, and you actually, when you click this little I here, you can bring up the extra window and you have a very link to whatever document it is. So you have a database for all your documents accordingly. And the last thing on the consent solution here is the search function. So depending on what tab we're in, we can search for just about any aspect of who we're looking for and what consent we're looking for. So under subjects, for example, we can search for someone by email, their first name, their last name. We can even narrow it down to a date range. And then under legal notices, we can also do the same in a different way and find different legal notices. So over time, as things build up, you have a search portion of this database that makes the aspect of keeping all your consents in line and up to date and inside this dashboard very easy to find. And that is it for the demo, guys. So we can jump to Q&A. Chris?
Yes, sir. Awesome. Let me pull up some of the questions. Thanks for going through all that. All right. I see that we've been getting a lot of these answered, but because these answers aren't going to show up on the replay, I'm going to go through a couple of them. So let's see what we got. So does the legal notices versions that show up on the site inform the user when it was last updated or what the version number is?
Andre, are you with us?
Yes. Sorry, I thought I answered all of them, but I cannot find this one. Oh, maybe it was in the chat. Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to Oh no.
Oh no, it's all right. It just popped up in the Q&A.
Okay, wait. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the user means. I mean, we have a WordPress plugin, so the WordPress plugin will update automatically, of course. And at the same time, at any time, if you've got all of it integrated, you can make a change on your policy or on your solution, and it will get updated onto your website without having you to make changes.
Awesome.
So I hope that
Cool.
catches the question.
All right. A couple of the other ones. How does this affect site speed, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, we work a lot on site speed, and we try to stress making our solution as fast as possible. Lately, we've even been working directly with Google on their PageSpeed Lighthouse team, with their PageSpeed Lighthouse team to optimize for the new checks that they've added a few months ago. So we're definitely on top of that.
Awesome. A GDPR question, which, everyone is confused about GDPR. If I have a US based website, but my audience comes from the EU, or at least some of my audience does, do I still need to have GDPR?
Absolutely, yes, because any website that has EU traffic needs to follow the GDPR. And we have a feature that's designed for that. If you're not in the EU, you don't want to apply the GDPR on all your traffic, but just the EU traffic, and you can enable a feature that filters traffic and only show the banner, for instance, in the EU.
Awesome. Cool. In terms of your roadmap, what are you guys most excited about that you have coming up?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of improvements to our existing products. We're also launching team features early next year, where you will be able to, for instance, if you need an agency, control your clients, manage billing and stuff like that. But in general, I mean, just improving our solutions, since we have already quite a wide offering, it's definitely in our mind.
Awesome. Andrew, would you actually mind navigating over to the AppSumo deal page and kind of going through what's included in the AppSumo offer and what the different tiers are, the price, the any other features that you think are notable for folks?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let me open it. Andrea, do you want to run through that? You've spent a bit more time diving into that deal page there.
Yeah, sure. If you can load up the screen.
I'm gonna send that for everybody.
I can also share it if that's easier for you. I got it pulled up right here.
Perfect. I'm gonna share it in the chat.
All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Cool.
Right. So we have three tiers. The first one gives you 5 licenses, which will get you basically privacy and cookie policy and the terms and conditions for one site in one language. If you and then on top of that, you can add the cookie solution, which is the solution for cookie banner and the like, for up to 50,000 page views per month, and only the page views where you apply the GDPR or CCPA. So if you are operating worldwide but based in the US, this will apply only to your EU traffic, for instance, which will be a subset of your traffic probably. Then the second tier gives you 15 licenses, which you can mix. So if you need just the privacy and cookie policy, it will use up 1 license. If you also need terms and conditions along with privacy and cookie policy, it will use up 5 licenses. Okay, so if you have 15 licenses, you can use it for 15 websites, just privacy and cookie policy, or for instance, 3 websites for terms and conditions and privacy and cookie policy. And then you have more page views. So if you have a larger site or more U traffic, you can make room from there for that. And then the third tier adds even more licenses, even more page views, but adds our internal privacy management tool, which is for keeping a registry of data processing, as Andrew said. Which is a GDPR requirement, and also the consent solution, which allows you to store consent for things like forms, so that if the authority comes to you, you can basically track that and basically oppose that. Yeah, that's about it. And it's I mean, this is the craziest discount we've ever made. The prices that you see crossed out are what we charge on a yearly basis. So that gives you an idea of what the 70,000 customers that we already have are paying for the same thing. So it's quite unprecedented.
Crazy discount. It's awesome. And this is lifetime access, correct, for these purchases?
Yeah.
Awesome. So first code starting at $59. Normally would be $216 per year. It's $59 one time for that first license, and then scales up from there as well as that discount. That's awesome. Thank you guys for bringing this deal to AppSumo. It's super cool, and I see that people are very excited. You guys already have a bunch of 5 taco reviews, which is super cool to see. Let's see if we have any other questions to go through. I know there's a lot, but you guys have been being a beast answering these. Let's see.
I'll share some, check out our content page, everybody, too. I'm going to share something in the Zoom chat, but Chris, you can feel free to share that out. That's just something on CCP, but we have so much content.
Cool.
If you have questions on Ubenda or even the law in general, you can dive in and find answers.
Yeah, I mean, I can add that a lot of questions have been popping up on the deal page, so you can check that, and it might be that one of your questions has been answered already. Plus, we have huge documentation and a lot of videos on our own site. So in any case, we also have a live chat, so you can also just come to our site and engage with us directly.
Awesome. So best place for people to reach out is they can ask questions on the deal page. They can go to your website. They can interact with you guys on the live chat. And then is there an email, did you mention?
Yeah, I mean, our email is info@iubenda.com. But again, also on the side, you can create a ticket. Probably it's easier, or just go through the chat and you will eventually get us a notification.
Awesome. Cool. Well, do you guys have any last comments that you guys want to leave Sumo Lings with before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of questions still coming up. Just post them on the deal page so that we can answer them there. Yeah, just be satisfied.
Awesome. Great. Well, again, thank you guys so much for hopping on. Sumo Lings, thank you very much for joining us. Apologies if you didn't get your question answered here, but yeah, you can do the deal page. We also have live chat and the email that we mentioned. And if you want to see anything that was in this webinar again, that'll be posted later today, so you can check out the replay there. So thank you guys both for joining today, bringing this offer to AppSumo. Sumo Lings, again, this is part of the AppSumo 60-day money-back guarantee. So feel free to play around with it, see what kind of benefits you can get for your business with this, and let us know how it goes. Leave a review if you guys end up getting it. Hope you'll give it a shot. And thank you all for being here. We'll see you on the next one.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas, y'all. Take care. Bye.
Bye.